Good evening. I'd like to call to order the April meeting of the Upper Island Township Stormwater Authority. I'd ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Walsh.
Present.
Mr. Fairchild.
Present.
Mr. Martin.
Present.
Mr. Castranian.
Present.
Mr. Cochran.
Present. In the way of announcements, this meeting will be live streamed for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the meeting will also be available afterward for anyone who cannot join in real time. I have 3 people listed here, and I have 2 no's. They don't wish to speak, and 1 is a question mark. Have you made your mind up yet, or is it, I mean, if there's a topic on the agenda, when that topic comes up, you can certainly speak then. Okay, that's what we'll do then. I want to announce that prior to this meeting, we held an executive session to get legal advice on a topic on the agenda from our solicitor. The consent agenda is 3 items. It's approval of the minutes of March 19th. It's consideration and approval of bills in the amount of $13,934.35. And it's consideration and approval of staff reports, which are the township manager's report, the solicitor's report, and the engineer's report. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as unanimous. That would be unanimous. Thank you. Under new business, we have consideration and possible authorization to award bids for the 2025 stormwater improvements. Who's speaking to that?
So in conjunction with the Commissioner's 2025 roadway improvement project, we included a series of stormwater infrastructure improvements for the Webercroft and Whitebriar development. Pensy Supply Incorporated was the low bidder in each case, including the stormwater infrastructure. We have a total bid in the amount of $891,942.75. This does include an alternate bid for the Webercroft Development North section in the amount of $442,746.75. Based on our review of the bids, we find everything to be complete and have no issue to raise concern before the authority.
Okay. Any further comments on the bid?
Yeah, I would have a question or comment. I mean, the overall objective here is to correct or stop the, I guess, the stormwater from flowing during rainstorms, like the surface water.
Yeah, there's a varied scope. Starting with the Whitebriar development, we have existing infrastructure in place that is aged and deteriorated and needs replaced. Are also small short sections within the Webercroft development of existing pipes are deteriorating, and we're replacing those as well. The Webercroft development north portion, there is not any existing stormwater infrastructure in place. Stormwater flows across the ground, ponds on streets, driveways, yards, et cetera, because the development was constructed without any underlying systems in place to provide for proper drainage and convey that water through the development. This project proposes to incorporate a new collection system that would aid in collecting that surface water and conveying that to the low end of the property and further downstream.
Right. That's what I was referring to, mainly Webercroft, and we're going to hopefully solve that problem. I mean, you're a professional engineer, so the numbers should work out that we solve that problem.
It's certainly going to assist in, traditional engineering. We have different recurrence intervals to model from the 1 year up to the 100-year storm. We are maximizing the capacity of our system within the physical limits that we have in this case. It certainly is going to help address surface ponding. It will not necessarily impact basement flooding, things of that nature. And there will be a point where this system just simply can't keep up depending on, the magnitude of a storm. So like I said, we're maximizing the capacity based on the conditions that we have to work in.
So in plain English, for your normal storms, we should be in good shape. For the exceptional storm, it's still not going to be able to handle an exceptional storm.
Yeah, and when we say handle, I mean, we're attempting to drain surface water. We're going to continue to do that. The rate at which it can take that water may be slightly exceeded. In some occasions, there could be 2 periods of ponding. However, the infrastructure was in place, and over time, it was going to assist in draining that away.
And our hope is, although there's no guarantee, but our hope is that with less ponding, there should be less water seeping into basements from above ground.
Eventually.
We can't do anything below ground, the stuff that comes up, it's just too low, but we'll take away some of the stuff that's laying around in the yards.
Correct.
Okay.
One thing I believe I noticed in the bid, Jason, was that we're using corrugated metal pipe. And I'm wondering maybe why we're doing that versus the plastic pipe.
Yeah, it's not ideal. We prefer to install smooth line plastic pipe. In this particular case, we are working with very minimal ground cover, meaning we only have so much room to fit the pipes and place material on top of it. So we chose to go with an elliptical corrugated metal pipe in order to match the capacity that we could achieve in a traditional circular round pipe. However, we did specify an aluminized version of corrugated metal. It's a metal pipe that is lined with an aluminum coating, and it has a much higher resistance to degrade over time as a result of that. It's greatly improved over your traditional galvanized, hot-dipped metal piping.
Do you know the life expectancy on that?
I think
the rated?
I can look at the literature. It's close to 50 years. It's
Okay, because
yeah.
corrugated metal is what, 20 years or something, or it's not very high.
Yeah,
Just
traditional. We
Yeah.
don't really bank on that more than 20, so it definitely increases. It's a greater expense, obviously, to get that treatment, but it is certainly an improvement.
And I just wanted to mention one more issue. You kind of touched on it, Jim, or I think it's separate from this contract, but wasn't this a contributing cause to what damaged like the sewer pipe in that area? There's a lot of infiltration and everything. Could that have happened from this water that was like sitting?
Well,
there?
we
That's
had-
another part of the contract.
We have sewer pipes that age, and as they age, they crack and free roots seek to go into the pipes. But I don't think, I'm not aware of stormwater doing that. It's more a matter of roots getting into the pipes, so the pipe's just getting old. And we purchased several years ago a television truck to go around and televise our lines and see where we had this inflow. And I think we've done a pretty good job at taking care of most of that.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with the material of those pipes there. They're just part of the oldest part of the system, back from like the early 70s to the later 70s, and they've just kind of failed.
I mean, they showed some of the televised footage at the sewer advisory board a couple of months ago. It was like literally just flowing in, that you just wouldn't believe the volume of water just
Yes.
getting into the sewer system.
No, it seeks the path of least resistance, and underground, if you got an open pipe, that's where it wants to
Right. So
go.
anyway, that's another part of the project, not part of this contract, but part of the overall project.
Yeah, we're talking about stormwater here, but under Board of Commissioners, there'll be discussion about the paving and the sewer replacement too, which it's a three pieces to this puzzle. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Are we moving just for the Stormwater Authority to approve the 891,000 amount?
Yeah,
Not the authorities that we're actually approving it, not recommending the Board of Commissioners approve it.
that's correct. You're
Okay.
approving your expense related to the contract, the component of the contract. Sorry.
You're approving your expense related to the component of the contract, and then the Board of Commissioners would also need to approve its expense related to their components of the contract, therefore approving the entire contract. One body could essentially block the other body from approving the contract.
We need both bodies to approve this for the whole thing to go forward. So this is just the stormwater piece. And I have a motion, but I don't have a second.
Second.
Okay, now I have a second. Further discussion on the motion? None? Any comments from the public? Okay. I'll call for a vote. Unless I hear a negative vote, I'll instruct the secretary to record the roll call as unanimous. That would be unanimous. Let's see what else we have here. Cedar Run update on the rest of the projects or anything else?
Yeah, at this point, this has really been our primary focus. We want to take care of this particular project, but we understand that we need to start looking into the next phases of proposed work related to Cedar Run, and that initiative will begin this year.
And assuming approval by the Board of Commissioners, we'd expect this project to start in June.
Potentially June. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, I note that several weeks ago now, there was an accident at Cumberland Parkway and Market Street involving Associated Products, and our emergency services were there, et cetera. Is there any kind of reimbursement or can our fire department and township, can we get reimbursed for that cost associated with that accident, or is that all township expense?
I don't know. I would have to confer with the solicitor, but related to the spill, that was cleaned by a licensed contractor and then later inspected by township personnel as well as, I believe, DEP.
Correct, but
Not stormwater,
I guess it is, okay. That isn't stormwater, you're right.
although some of
Although
it may have made it to the
But
storm
it was
drains.
going, I know they
Yeah.
were blocking it,
Yeah.
so it's kind of related.
Okay, yeah.
You can answer the question during the next meeting.
Oh, look forward to it.
Anything else from anyone?
Does she want to speak?
No one? Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move, we adjourn.
No, I think she wants to speak, Jim.
We'll need you to come up to the microphone, please. It's Arlene? Yes. If you just come up and give us your name and address, Arlene. And you need to push the button at the bottom of the microphone there, right at the very bottom on the base,
To get it to.
where it comes up out of the, there, now it's on. Thank you.
I'm Arlene Justice.
Mhm. And you
Been
live,
there since 1966. Dealt with floods galore. Marlon Yon took care of pretty much the area that I live in. But I still remember all of the work and all of the roofs and all of the basements that were flooded in 72 to the extent that it actually took out the whole wall. So I'm hoping for the benefit of all of us that we don't have to go through that again. And I'm still hoping that in future, we will be able to have perhaps that basin that would help to slow down the water that comes from Miller's Crest and comes into Webercroft. We can't stop the flow of the water, but we can certainly slow it down. And I'm so thankful that you're at least making some progress. It's been a long time that we've been putting up with this water. So thank you so very much.
you're welcome. Thank you for your comments.
What is your address, Arlene, for the record, the secretary?
I'm at 13 Hickory Lane.
You get that? Okay, we record that. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
Sure. I move we adjourn this meeting.
Meeting adjourned. Not me. I'm good.
Meeting will come to order. We're now holding a meeting of Upper Allen Township Board of Commissioners on April 16th, 2025. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Cochran,
Present.
Commissioner Walsh,
Present.
Commissioner Fairchild,
Present.
Commissioner Castrano,
Present.
Commissioner Martin.
Present. So by way of announcements, this meeting is being live streamed via Zoom for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the session will be made available on YouTube after the meeting has concluded and we have time to do that. Excuse me. I also want to announce that prior to this meeting and prior to the stormwater meeting, we did have an executive session to seek some legal advice from our solicitor on issues covered by the attorney-client privilege. With our materials that were distributed, we had the minutes of March 19th meeting. Are there any questions, additions, or corrections?
Mr. Martin, I have a couple.
Okay.
I think on page 6, the discussion about the drone show, I think you, Alexis, well, isn't quoting me, but saying like, I thought the project was too risky. I don't recall saying that. My concern wasn't the monetary risk. It was just what value it showed for the community and spending $32,000 and that it could be used for other uses. But anyway, can you just like put my verbatim statement in there, Alexis, instead of, what you had written? And then on page 9, there's,
Excuse me, which part? I'm trying to see exactly where you were quoted there, Eric.
page 6 of the minutes,
Oh, that you spoke out strongly against signing the contract.
contract calling it risky,
Okay, how would you prefer it, Creed?
just for her to spoke out strongly and then quote just a verbatim of what I said.
Okay. It'll probably be longer, but do you have the ability to go back, Alexis, and just and put it in verbatim? Thank you.
And then on page 9, there's reference to the Hall Bridge, and that should be the Hull Bridge, Hull.
Yes, in the last paragraph.
And then I would add that it just changed that sentence or say that it was rehabilitated for vehicular use in 2019 and that C.S. Davidson was the engineer.
Okay. Any other input?
Yeah, I just had a
Bill?
quick note, short page 7, midway down the page. I just wanted to make a note of the fact that I referenced the fact that the McCormick Park was within a historic district.
I'm sorry, Phil. Which paragraph? Here in the middle.
Commissioner Walsh report.
Oh, there we
having
go, yes.
discussions.
And you just wanted added that?
Oh, yeah, just-
Okay, gotcha.
Just add that in there.
Have that. Thank you. Anything else? We entertain a motion to accept as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. By way of visitors, I believe that no one wishes to speak. I think we have some folks here probably that are interested in an item in the agenda. When that agenda item comes up, if you wish to speak, wave or do something. With the consent agenda, we had the various staff reports. We have bills in consideration of $471,253.07. And then we have a request to release the financial security of Willows at Ashcombs in the amount of $21,762. Does anyone wish to deal with these items individually, or are you okay doing it as a group consent agenda?
I would request that we do item C separately because I will be abstaining from the Willows at Ashcombe Mansion. The firm I am employed by is the design engineer for the Willows.
Thank you. So then are there questions with respect to staff reports and or the bills to be paid?
I have a question about the bills. Okay, just one particular item. It was on page 6, reference to a Grantham pipeline brush purchased, I guess, by the Parks Department for $17,392. I apologize for maybe not inquiring sooner, but.
Could you just reread that one more time? I'm sorry.
Pipeline brush for Grantham Pond, $17,000.
I'll have
like-
to get you the details. Oh, Jason may know.
We have performed a PNDI search as part of our permitting efforts with the Grantham Pond dredging project.
Mhm.
And we did receive a hit for an endangered species of bats. And there is a time restriction for when you are allowed to remove trees or do clearing associated with that particular species of bat. We worked with the Parks Department to contract for an area to be cleared ahead of the time frame if there's a restriction. So that's what that bill is for.
Okay, I was envisioning like some furnace cleaning brush or something for the pipes, so, thank you.
You had me on the same thing.
Brush,
I will look
removing
into that
brush,
just to get,
Not a brush.
I'll get full details though and get that out
Right.
either way.
Thank you.
But thank you, Jason. I remember you mentioning before that there was a possible bat in that area or a species of bats. Any other questions, comments? I would entertain a motion to approve items 1A and B.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. And then secondly, Willows at Ashcombe, to release the financial security, do you have any questions or comments on that? There was an item, there was backup information in our packet. I would entertain a motion to approve if that's the will of the board.
So moved.
Bill? Jim, did you second? Very well. Been moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Opposed, no. Motion carried, 4 yes, 1 abstention. Okay, then moving to public safety. We have both Chief Parsons and Schaumburger. Who has the mic first? Oh, don't fight him.
Go ahead and take it. Thank you. We completed our interviews of our potential candidates for employment here at Upper Allen Township. After that whole process was done, we have 5 people that passed, and we're currently interviewing the top 3. So we're continuing with that process. I went to the Cumberland County Chiefs of Police meeting today. They spoke about the Cumberland County Public Safety spoke about the P25 portable radios and mobile radio project that's been going on for some time. They said at the end of July, they should have the 19 tower sites tested, and that they'll begin dry testing the system in early September. So hopefully, by the fall, that should be coming to fruition. 2 of our older vehicles, we just put on municipal bid for sale. So those have, we've been waiting for them to be put on there, but they're on now. And then finally, at the end of last week, we did a website posting on our website about the wrong way crash in January. So an arrest has been made. All that information can be found there if anybody's interested. Other than that, I don't have anything. I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Chief Parsons? Chief Schaumburger?
All right. It's been a busy month for the fire department. Last month, we ran 65 calls and had a total manpower of 7.35 people per call. So last weekend was the opening day of baseball. This coming weekend is the opening day of softball, which the fire department will be there to display the flag on the truck again. And then we have on the 26th, a private event with allies in autism. They use the sensory garden down at the park. So we're gonna do like a touch a truck with them. Chad down at Parks is gonna organize it all. So it seems like it ought to be a super event. Fire department's gonna try to get accredited so we can go along with the Parks Department being accredited. And then what everybody's waiting for, May 3rd is the first barbecue of the year. So May, June, and August are the 3 barbecues this year, first weekend of each month.
Tom, I know you advertise it starts at 11 a.m. till sold out, right?
That's what we advertise. However, we have people pulling in at 9:30, so.
When are you gonna start selling chicken?
As
This
soon
year
as
I'm not
it's
gonna
ready,
miss it.
which is usually about 10:30.
Okay, thank you. I'll be there.
All right.
Barbecue chicken for breakfast. What's better than that, right? Okay. Anything else or any questions for either chief? I might mention, since you're here, Mr. Anderson, we did have a public improvements committee meeting one day this week. And we discussed the situation in Gettysburg Pike, and that has been turned over to, well, our engineer was there and certainly is aware of the location and the situation. And we also have our traffic engineer involved now. So I don't have any outcome or things to report other than we are trying to respect your request and work on it.
Encourage the committee to consider any temporary solutions in the meantime to sort of stop the bleeding as it were. But thank you very much for your attention. Appreciate it.
Thank you. There's nothing else for public safety. We'll go to planning and zoning, and I note Jen's not here. That's unusual. So we don't have any agenda items, but is there anything anyone wishes to bring up for planning and zoning? If not, we can go to public improvements. And we have two issues. The first one is the 2025 road improvement plan. Jason?
Okay, we held a bid opening on Monday, April 14th for the 2025 roadway improvement project. The project proposes improvements to existing roads in the Webercroft and Whitebriar developments, along with replacement of 10 ADA accessible ramps. It also includes a sanitary sewer replacement project in the Webercroft development. In addition of stormwater infrastructure in both of those same developments once again. And finally, a sixth project for recreation trails into Winding Hill Park North. We received 5 bids in total. They are on the screen before you. Pensy Supply is the apparent low bidder, an amount of $3,327,247.60, with Kinsley Construction Site Work coming in at second at $3,500,460. We have reviewed the bid results and find them to be acceptable. All required documents were submitted in conjunction with the bid as required by our contract documents. We're in position this evening to offer a favorable recommendation to award as seen fit by the board.
Questions of the engineer or comments?
I still didn't crunch the numbers, Jason, I apologize, but we went looking at the bid tabulation and just the variation in pricing for like the cold in place recycling. And you explained like, it was higher for some of the areas that have a cul-de-sac, I guess, because the labor portion or, having to go around in a circle versus a straight line. But, are you able to reconcile the square yard cost to what was in the roadway improvement plan last year, like the $30?
Yeah, I just went through 2 of the roads here quickly. The one I calculated roughly just under $30 for a roadway that has a $10 and change per square yard fee. The one that has $18 per square yard, that was about $36 for cold in place recycling. So there is a range. I think it's floating around what we had previously presented in the roadway management plan. We will proceed with a 2025 update at some point. We'll collect this data and again, make modifications to what we present in that roadway management plan to make sure that that information is current.
And I think some of the cold in place recycling got down to like under $10.
I think
on some of the streets.
Yeah, a couple of the roads, they put in at $8 and
$8.71 or something like that. It started at.
Yeah,
And I noticed that was better than what it was last year.
which is great.
Yeah. Right.
But
But it was still very confusing to read all the charts and try to put all the roads together and the different components and make sense of it.
I think we got excellent pricing on this bid. We will reference the last year's bid. We reference data that we have in the roadway plan. We try to make some sort of an estimate what we think the numbers are going to come in. In this case, the low bid was well below our total estimate for this contract. So I think we're in pretty good shape.
So if this cold in place recycling is what, 4 to 5 inches? that means you're milling down the road that much? You remove material and then you add back?
It's a pulverization process where we basically grind up the existing pavement section. The emulsion that you're seeing on the bid schedule is an added oil. It's an oil that's added during that process. So it's really a means to recycle that existing roadway. The emulsion essentially brings new life into that old material. And it is then placed and compacted just as if it was a brand new road. Then we put a fresh top coat over that to seal up that material. It's an economical process to use whenever you have roads that are in disrepair. In this case, most of the structural integrity, if you will, the road is solid. There's not a lot of dips and waves in areas where we have to dig it out. It's a good treatment for that. We had sections on Fisher last year, recall, that were in terrible shape, and we used a process called FDR. It's full depth reclamation, and we actually incorporate cement into that road base because we have to start from the very bottom and build up. In this case, we're really just trying to improve that top layer of the road structure.
So you're not getting new material then, per se. You're using what's in place. It's not dependent on where a quarry or an asphalt plant is, per se.
For the base layer, the top coat will be
The new super pave or whatever it's called.
That's
It's
correct.
new material.
And the emulsion is a petroleum-based product too, right?
That's correct.
So as petroleum goes up and down, the price of the emulsion can go up and down with it.
And I guess, I questioned it before, like some of like the dewberry and wineberry, like they're less than 30 years old. I just would not have thought it would take that degree of work to have to go down 4 or 5 inches removing the material. But
Well, pavement life really starts to deteriorate within 10 years. That's the life cycle that we base a lot of our predictions on in terms of planning for roadway treatments. In this particular case, the road structure is worn out. The top layer of pavement, there are cracks through that entire section. And it's highly deteriorated. If you take a drive, you'll see all the crack sealing that we did. It's pretty much in complete failure mode at this point. So we had to go to a more intensive reclamation process to try to rejuvenate that road, short of removing it completely and rebuilding from scratch.
and I guess I understood doing it where we're replacing stormwater pipe and stuff. You would have to do that, or it wouldn't make sense if you're going to have a uniform smooth surface to take it all down. But I just didn't know, like, is it Broadmoor or some of the other Mayfield roads in that development we're not doing stormwater work on? Yet we're taking the road down that far.
That's correct. I mean, the condition is pretty much nearly 100% over the surface of the road that we're observing. It's prevalent on all the roadways. So I think this is the best treatment for the township, and you're going to get the longest life expectancy out of this process versus what may be typically a mill and overlay where you just take a layer off and put a layer back on. We're trying to get into the depth of that pavement and restore it properly so that integrity is upheld for a much longer duration than you would have with a more simpler approach.
Okay, other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept.
I had another question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, relating to sewer.
That's next time, or?
No, it's part of this bid. This is the sewer
Sorry.
pipe
Okay.
part
Keep going.
of this bid. It's project, is it 4 or 5? 4. So the estimate was $612,000. I guess based on what GHD, that's the sewer engineer, and then there was an adjustment for manhole covers, it appears. So $612,000. Yet the bid from PennSeek comes in at $777,000. But one of the other vendors or bidders, I guess Shiloh, was coming in at $680,000. And is there a way to separate or to utilize that lower bid?
Not in this case. We have one contract that was to be awarded. And so when we award that contract, it would be for the entire scope of work, including all 6 projects, to the lowest bidder. the board could pull that out and rebid that as its own project certainly, but you will lose approximately a 3-month period in doing so to go through that process.
Well, and probably, because if you have one contractor, then mobilization and staging is all covered over the 6 projects. If we pull one out, it may put the unit cost up.
I thought we thought we would save money by doing that, and the contractor could manage the overall timeline and when the sewer people were in there and all that. It just came in higher than I would have expected.
Well,
So anyway, I didn't.
you find over the years that some bidders, when there's a multiple portions of the contract, they'll bid low on one and high on another. But they're always in tune to the bottom line of the whole contract. So if they think they have severe competition in one area, they may bid that a little tighter. And if they think the competition in another area, they wouldn't have as much competition, they'll bid a little more profit, and that's what I've seen over the years. So to take the pieces apart, you really put yourself at risk because you could be taking out a sweet part or a.
I think you end up with a higher overall price.
Yes.
That's been my experience.
Yes.
Right, that's what I wanted to hear. If that's your experience, then that's an education to me. I just didn't seem to work out the way we were necessarily what we were hoping for.
Good observation.
In that department.
Rick, were you going to say something?
Nope.
I'm sorry. Any other questions? I would entertain a motion. If it's the will of the board.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the 2025 roadway improvement project with the alternates. Projects 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 in the amount of $2,435, but 2,435,304.85.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
That's the figure for the road work less the stormwater work.
That's what my
And then
calculator says.
I believe we're going to do the stormwater then separately. We're going to
We
ratify that
We
for you.
already did the
that at
stormwater.
Previous.
Oh, I thought we told the people we were going to also talk about it here. That's all.
Oh,
But
that wasn't my understanding, but if you want, we can come back and we can talk about it. I think the action has already been taken. Subject to
right,
this action,
sure.
you're right, Eric,
Right,
because
we
I
can-
suspect if we defeated this motion, we wouldn't have a standalone stormwater project, but. Okay, moved in second. Any other discussion? Any comments from the audience? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. And now, Scott, and this is an item, folks, that was added several days ago since the original agenda came out, but it is, it's been posted and we've talked about it. And that's the mini split for the fire department.
Yes, the second item under public improvements was added over 24 hours ago, so it matches the agenda. And the agenda was posted over 24 hours ago. The fire department's building extension, the older extension, not the newer extension, which is further up English Drive, has some issues with stale air and musty smells and mildew. We are in the process of having the roof redesigned and replaced, but on top of that, another improvement needs to be made, which is the addition of a conditioning system or a mini split system. We spoke with Heim Construction, who is currently on site doing HVAC work here at the township. They gave us a CoStar's price of $12,855, which I provided you the proposal, which is to install a 2-ton LG wall hung mini split system. They believe they can get that work done within the next week or so. It shouldn't be an issue with it being in stock. That should eliminate some of the musty smells and the stale air, circulate the air through that building. We will still need to replace the roof at some point. There's currently, but that's where we're currently at. So I did note in an email earlier today that the operating fund, it does have a projected fund balance of $468,000. So this would fit comfortably within the current fire operating fund, and we would just charge it out of the building maintenance fund, building maintenance account within the fire operating fund.
Okay, questions of Scott? Post action?
I'll move that we approve the mini split system in the fire department building by Heim Construction in the amount of $12,855.
Your second?
Second.
Been moved to second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Thank you.
One step closer, Tom. I hope you heard, we have discussed public improvements, et cetera, and we're doing some more research with engineers and roofers, but the replacement of that roof is coming on the docket, and I know you're tired of putting buckets out under leaks. Okay, if any other things for public improvements?
No, sir.
Let's move then to sanitary sewer. There's nothing on the agenda unless anyone has a question, wants to bring up anything. Moving then to administration, Scott, the budget update.
Certainly, very quickly, the March numbers, revenue came in at $1,008,000 and expenditures were about $699,000, just giving us a March surplus of $309,000. And really the reason for that is real estate taxes started to be transferred to the township from the tax collector. Net position for the general fund for the current year is still at a negative $192,000. We should move into the black come April. And then sewer, I note in my memo that we will see that shoot back up in April, maybe the beginning of May, when we start collecting sewer-related funding. Otherwise, all the other funds are pretty much coming in exactly as we had budgeted them within some flex room. But as we start to see real estate, it's pretty much the normal peak in the year is April and May, and then it'll start to essentially decline for the remainder of the year.
Okay. Any questions, Scott, related to the budget? Anything else, administration?
No, sir.
Moving to Park and Rec, there's no agenda items, but any announcements or things you'd want to discuss? Before we get miscellaneous, Eric, did you want to say something about stormwater? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Okay.
if Scott or the solicitor was clear. I mean, like
Okay.
Rick subtracted it out of the number, but I wasn't sure in this meeting if we were.
No, you should, you're good. I wanted the Board of Commissioners to authorize their component and the Stormwater Authority to authorize their component for a total project of
$3,352,304.
$3,327,247.60.
All right.
That was the estimate.
Oh, that's okay, fine. But in any event, just so everyone knows, some years ago, we started a roadway improvement program, and every year we try to do sections of the township based on the engineer's evaluation of which streets are in the most disrepair, et cetera. So I guess we're in a 15-year cycle now to go through the township, but I think it's important that we methodically and systematically and rationally plan for maintaining our streets and roads through the township. Because once you get behind them, as you all know, then it's pothole city. So kudos to staff and this Board of Commissioners for setting up that kind of sequence.
Can somebody refresh my memory, how many miles of roads we have? It's like 70, 80, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, if you put a pedometer on and run them over
I know,
time,
right.
we would know for sure. But
And originally the program started out as a 10-year program.
yes,
And as we've added streets and the cost of petroleum has gone up, we've tried not to increase the burden on the taxpayers. So we felt we could stretch it out to 15 years.
yeah, thank you for mentioning. We did start with 10, right? But, okay, miscellaneous solicitor update,
I have no report.
tax collection. I don't assume there's a report. Capital area COG, we did have some training coming up, and I know that Upper Island hosted a training session for them in the use of operating heavy equipment. So thank you for doing that. I don't have any update in MAB. Does anyone else? State Association, I'm not aware of anything. Public comment, anything that people in the audience would like to ask, talk about, suggest? I don't, but thanks for coming out, folks. It's nice to see people on the other side of this podium. I don't assume we need an executive session since we already had one. With any kind of luck, we're gonna get out before dark. Wow. Anything else for the good of the order? I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Move to second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you, folks. Time is it? Wow.
Really?